Just because of a joke from the host, this aging actor was able to pry into Hollywood's capital empire. A character
Played before you'd like to play again that no one is asking you.
I would love to play John Constantine again, from Constantine.
Great film.
I love that. After the program was broadcasted, the project leader quickly contacted Constantine's original director and screenwriter, both of whom were full of expectations for future cooperation. It seemed that Constantine 2 was really coming, and the excited editor watched the first part twice a night. Although Constantine's box office was dismal in 2005, he was still a divine presence in my heart, especially the description of hell scenes in the movie, which refreshed people's understanding of hell at that time. However, what was even more surprising was that this inspiration came from the scene of an atomic bomb explosion. Constantine, a man who dares to point his finger at the king of hell, was born with the attention of God and Satan. At the age of 8, he awakened his divine power, and the words of yin and yang can reveal the semi-demons and semi-angels wandering in the human world. But as he grew older, Constantine saw more and more demons. Finally, he could no longer tolerate this fearful life and chose to escape his fate by committing suicide. But unfortunately, the doctor came in time to save him. However, during the 2 minutes of the doctor's rescue, Constantine spent decades in hell. Because when a mortal enters hell, human time is almost in a static state, so in a short 2 minutes, he endured endless torment in hell. Since then, Constantine realized that hell is a real existence. So he began to desperately capture demons, constantly doing good deeds, with the aim of choosing to go to heaven after death instead of going down to earth. Years of troll experience have made the Constantine Hall stronger and stronger. On this day, he received another troll mission. A mother discovered that her daughter was haunted by demons, crawling strangely on the ceiling every day, with hysterical cries resembling demons. The neighbors were also greatly frightened by this scene. Subsequently, Constantine arrived at the girl's room, took a brief glance, and placed the unfinished cigarette on the table. In his opinion, this exorcism won't take a single cigarette of time. So Constantine walked to the window, opened the curtains, and took out various religious symbols, shining them on the girl through the sunlight. After several attempts, the girl finally let out a painful howl. It seems that the demon inside the girl is afraid of this snowflake-like emblem. After identifying the cause, Constantine decisively took action against the demon. He pressed the emblem directly on the girl's forehead, and the girl screamed in pain before fainting. No accidents happened. Just as Constantine approached to check the girl's condition, the demon suddenly became even more rampant, as if wanting to break through and emerge. Fortunately, Constantine reacted promptly and fought the demon back. Obviously, this demon was a bit beyond his expectations. Then he smashed the window glass, then moved the bed to the edge of the window, and finally ordered everyone to find a huge mirror. Constantine instructed everyone to close their eyes and not open their eyes no matter what they heard later. After speaking, Constantine placed his hand on the girl's head and began reciting exorcism spells in his mouth. But at this moment, one of the uncles opened his eyes out of curiosity, which scared him so much that his hair on his hind legs turned white in an instant. The sudden change caught Constantine off guard, and the demon took the opportunity to strangle his neck. At the critical moment, Constantine recited the complete spell and successfully trapped the demon in the mirror. At this moment, Constantine did not forget to greet the demon, and obviously this action successfully angered the demon. Then the demon began to crazily impact the mirror. At the last moment when he was about to break out of the mirror, everyone successfully pulled the mirror out of the window. With the shattering of the mirror, the demon was also successfully killed. Without the entanglement of demons, the girl has returned to normal. As the saying goes, a cigarette is better than a living immortal after the event, but smoking is gone. It's really his mother unlucky. But just as Constantine was about to leave, he accidentally saw the girl being possessed and petrified by demons. The painting depicted the lance of Longinus, also known as the Spear of Destiny. Legend has it that whoever obtains the Spear of Destiny can control the fate of the world. All the recent signs indicate that this matter is not simple, so Constantine requested Father Hank to pay attention to the recent events. Although Hank is an ordinary priest, he can hear the voices of the yin and yang realms, so he has been tormented for many years and relies on alcohol anesthesia all day long. And this time, it was also because he couldn't control the demon on the girl, so he invited Constantine to help. But just as the two of them left, a mysterious person playing coins upstairs was quietly staring at him. After returning home, Constantine felt more and more uneasy because he was surprised to find that the demon possessed by the girl's body was actually a demon soldier from hell. Why did the demon soldiers inexplicably come to the human world? Subsequently, Constantine approached his old teammate Coleman with various doubts. Coleman can be considered his logistical support. Although he doesn't know how to exorcise demons, he has been providing Constantine with various exorcism weapons, and this time even brought in a legendary Dragon Creek gun. Constantine told Coleman what happened to the girl, and Coleman was shocked when he heard it because there had never been a demon-like spirit that came to the human world since ancient times. Even God and Satan had to pay a price when they came to the human world. And now that the small demon soldiers have the ability to come to the world, it is obvious that something big is about to happen. So Coleman promised Constantine to uncover the truth for him. After returning to the apartment, exhausted, Constantine spat out blood, indicating that there was a problem with his body. The next day, Constantine came to the hospital for examination, but the doctor told him that he was dying from advanced lung cancer. And the reason is that he has been smoking uncontrollably for over a decade, which scared Constantine to quickly light another cigarette and press it down. He couldn't understand that he had worked hard all his life to serve the people, but in the end, he would be killed by a few cigarettes. So Constantine decided to go find the archangel and add a version to renew his life. The woman woke up from her sleep again, realizing that it was just a dream just now. It wasn't until the woman went to work the next day that she realized that the experience was not a dream, but a real occurrence. The person who jumped off the building was her twin sister Isabella Angela, and she didn't want to believe that her sister would commit suicide because she knew her sister was a devout Christian, and suicide was the top taboo in religion. Therefore, as a believer, her sister would never betray religion. He decided to thoroughly investigate the cause of his sister's death, but now there is one more important thing that he needs to solve, which is that his sister Isabel's soul has not yet been redeemed. Before leaving, Angela met Constantine for the first time in front of the elevator. Good Lord! Later, Angela went to the church library to search for the priest. He prayed to the priest to hold a funeral for his sister so that she could go to heaven. However, the priest refused him because his sister died by suicide, which had already violated religious rules. God would not allow someone who committed suicide to go to heaven. Angela tried her best to prove that her sister couldn't have committed suicide, but the priest still refused him on the grounds of religious rules. Angela, who suddenly felt powerless, felt immense despair in her heart. However, at this moment, she saw Constantine also come to the library. Constantine came here because he had advanced lung cancer and had no choice but to come here to seek the heavenly master Gabriel to renew his life. Gabriel saw through the purpose of Constantine's trip at a glance, and before he could speak, Gabriel directly stated that he should not take any action to prolong his life. Constantine frankly stated that continuing his life was just to do more for God, while Gabriel believed that he did these things just to please God, so that after death, he could choose to go to heaven instead of going to the lower emperor. Tang Standing quickly brought out his great achievements over the years. He said that he went to Mo more than he ate salt, and he helped countless people. Why can't he go to heaven? Gabriel Patriarch Constantine, your starting point for doing good is to obtain a ticket to heaven, so it is a matter of profit-driven. And your late stage of cancer is caused by smoking 30 cigarettes a day since the age of 15. You can't go to heaven because you committed suicide when you were 15 years old. To go to heaven, one must understand self-sacrifice. After leaving the church, Constantine 99, who was standing in the heavy rain, couldn't let go of the fire. As soon as he looked up, even the billboard was against him, which made him vomit on the spot. Suddenly, a crab attracted his resident, and then a big black pen fight threw him dozens of meters away. When he realized that the other person was a low-level demon, the 100 Worms man, and even warned Constantine to mind his own business. Constantine led the demon onto the dense traffic road, and the unintelligent demon did indeed enter and was immediately hit by the coming and going traffic. Later on, Constantine realized that the problem was becoming more and more serious. First, a demon weapon from hell was found inside the girl's body, and now a 100 insect person has appeared. In Constantine's understanding, the gods have no right to enter the human world, and can only interfere with the human body through the soul body at most. They cannot directly appear and intervene. The current situation clearly disrupted the balance of the three realms, so he decided to go find Min Nit and ask him to help investigate the reason why demons have frequently come to the human world recently. Min Nit, on the other hand, manages a neutral bar where both exorcists and demons can enter and exit freely. Moreover, those who enter this place are not allowed to fight, so it has become a joyful place for exorcists and demons. And the reason why these people are obedient is because Minut's combat power is second only to God and Satan. As a result, Minut was revered by industry insiders as the Midnight Daddy. Constantine told Midnight Daddy what had happened to him, but Midnight Daddy didn't believe anyone dared to break the three realms. Therefore, Constantine requested Midnight Daddy to lend him the shuttle. Midnight Dad didn't hesitate, decisively rejected him, and told Constantine that he would never take action unless the balance of the three realms was disrupted. Helpless, Constantine can only return without success. On the other hand, Angela had already returned home, looking at her sister's shoulder before her death time and time again. Kung Fu doesn't come from fate. At the 100th attempt, he finally found a clue. Subsequently, Angela asked her colleagues to find Constantine's address, and without hesitation, he knocked on his door that night. Angela told Constantine about her sister's situation and firmly believed that she would never commit suicide. He wanted Constantine's help to see if her sister was being organized by some kind of cult. Constantine, who had just met a nose full of dust, was in a bad mood and immediately refused him. As soon as Angela left, black shadows flew past the window at her back, indicating that these demons were clearly heading towards Angela. Constantine didn't hesitate and quickly chased after him. After all, Angela was only targeted by demons when she came to him. Sure enough, as soon as Constantine caught up with Angela, the next second the demon launched an attack on the two of them. Receiving the streetlights on both sides, they began to extinguish one by one, and even Santa Maria was captured by demons. At a critical moment, Constantine ignited Coleman's exorcist dragon feast, and all the demons present were instantly melted. The streetlights on both sides of the road lit up again, and Angela was frightened by the scene just now. After all, it was the first time she had seen a demon at such a young age, but no one panicked. After this attempt, Constantine discovered that the demon was interested in Angela, so he decided to go to hell to help him investigate the cause of his sister's death. Perhaps he could find the secret to the demon breaking the balance of the three realms. After arriving at Angela's apartment, Constantine immersed his feet in a water basin. Then he found a black cat, because the cat bell could wander between two worlds, so Constantine had to enter hell through this black cat. Just as Angela was about to close the door, the flow of time began to slow down until it completely stopped. With the changes in the black cat's pupils, Constantine finally arrived at the top. There are many demons in hell that Constantine sent in, so as soon as he entered, he was targeted by demons, which is also the reason why Constantine refused to go to hell. After walking for an unknown amount of time, Constantine finally found his sister Isabel, and he seemed to be waiting for Constantine's arrival. So he untied the label tied to his wrist, turned around, and jumped deeper into hell. Constantine immediately ran to grab the tag, and the demons behind him also began to attack him. Such a long journey to hell is only a fleeting moment for Angela. He had just closed the door when he heard Constantine's call. After opening the door, Constantine's face was full of pain and he was still smoking blue smoke. Then he told Angela that your sister did indeed die of suicide, and therefore is still suffering endless torment in hell. Constantine, who had consumed too much, came to the small stall to replenish his energy. During the meal, he told Angela some stories about the relationship between gods and demons, telling him that God and Satan simulate the soul of humans in a directed cinema. Neither side can directly contact humans and can only exert influence on them. The victorious side can gain control over the human world, and his responsibility is to drive the unruly demons back to the ground. On the other side, while searching for clues, the priest accidentally discovered the reason for the demon's appearance in the human world, but he did not notice that behind him, there was a demon staring at him, waiting for an opportunity to move. John Constantine, with his mortal body, is on par with the gods. Under the three realms of God, he is invincible above them. To achieve this level when changing clothes, one must rely on strength, and on the other hand, a vast network of social relationships is indispensable. The priest, in order to boost Constantine's popularity, decided to help him search for the reasons behind the frequent reality of demons. He collected all the recent newspapers and then touched them with his hand. As long as there were events involving demons, he could easily filter them out. On the other side, while searching for food in the wilderness, a homeless man unexpectedly discovered an object wrapped in a Nazi flag. Upon opening it, there was a golden weapon, which was the Lankmas spear drawn by the girl who had been possessed by the demon before. A gust of gloomy wind struck, and the homeless man turned his head to look around, but there was nothing. The next second, his gaze began to become somewhat dull, and he walked towards the distance without looking back. Just as he was crossing the road, a car rushed over and collided with him. Surprisingly, the homeless man was not injured, but instead his car was hit and scrapped. It is obvious that this is the divine power of the Lance of Longinus. Subsequently, the homeless man arrived at a gas station and immediately robbed an unlucky driver, driving his car towards the distance. At this time, the priest, after some exploration, finally found a clue. He discovered that a demon was involved in Isabel's suicide case. In order to further investigate the truth, he found Isabel's body. During his first teleportation, he seemed to hear something terrifying, which frightened him and he quickly let go of his hand. It's obvious that this is a dangerous signal, but when he telepathized for the second time, a strange symbol suddenly appeared on the wrist of the corpse, which frightened the priest and made him fall directly to the ground. After getting up, he quickly took out his own wine pressure gauge. Unfortunately, he didn't drink a drop of wine from the teapot, so the priest quickly ran to the convenience store to find some wine to drink. However, when he unscrewed the bottle bag, the wine in the bottle did not flow out at all. But after he put down the bottle, the wine flowed out again, and the anxious priest smashed open other hotels, but still couldn't drink the wine in the bottle. At this moment, a stranger walked into a convenience store and enjoyed watching the painful priest, who also collapsed to the ground due to physical exhaustion. Immediately afterwards, he picked up a bottle opener and forcefully poked his palm while shouting Constantine's name. On the other hand, Constantine and Angela are enjoying dinner. During the conversation, Angela received a police call informing him that a case had occurred at a nearby convenience store. After the two of them arrived at the convenience store, they found that the priest had already died, and the reason was actually alcohol. Key point, it turns out that the priest did not fail to drink alcohol, but rather he fell victim to a demonic spell and temporarily lost his sensory nerves, which prevented him from feeling the stimulation of alcohol. Eventually, due to excessive alcohol in his body, he died. Suddenly, Constantine noticed the pattern carved by the priest on his palm. He quickly dragged the pattern down with white paper and then contacted Coleman to help check the pattern. Coleman looked at the pattern in front of him, as if he had seen it somewhere before. So he looked for the book of Revelation in the Hell Bible, and indeed, there was a record in the Bible about this pattern. The title was Son's Sin Will Exceed Copy's Sin, and the copy here was Satan, and the purple was Satan's son. The pattern on Father Marmon's palm was the symbol of Mammon. According to the Bible, Mammon was dissatisfied with the rules set by his father and God, and he planned to establish his own evil web on earth. Constantine said, "It's impossible. How could the demon body break the ban and come to the human world?" Coleman continued, stating that there is a loophole recorded in the Bible, where Mammon can attach himself to humans with powerful psychic abilities, and then use the power of God to travel through them. Constantine said that the psychic should be referring to Isabel, and God should be referring to God, but how could God possibly help Mammon? At this moment, the machine behind Coleman suddenly started working, which was a sign of a demon approaching. He knew he was definitely going to die here, so he told Constantine that although God could not help Malay people, it did not mean that people around God would not take risks. Before he could finish speaking, Coleman on the other end of the phone remained silent. After Constantine and Angela arrived, Coleman's body had been completely eaten by insects, losing two good friends in a row. This made Constantine very painful, as both friends died for helping him. After these two incidents, Angela dared not conceal anything and decided to confess to Constantine. Originally, Angela had the same psychic constitution as her sister. However, in the same year, she saw her sister being rejected by her peers, and her family treated her as a mental illness and sent her to a mental hospital. Angela was afraid of encountering her sister's situation, so she chose to retreat. Even if she saw a demon, she treated her as not seeing it. Gradually, Angela lost her psychic ability and thus lived a normal life. But when he saw his sister die alone, coupled with the involvement of Coleman and the priest, he began to regret not standing up. In order to redeem himself, he requested Constantine's help in restoring his psychic ability. He wanted to personally see what his sister had experienced before her death, perhaps to find the root of all of this. Constantine advised Angela that once she regained her psychic abilities, it would mean joining the war. When you see demons, they will also see you, and from then on, your life will be constantly scrutinized by demons. Angela was firm and certain of her choice, and then Constantine took him to the bathtub. "Somewhere to forest are you singing?" As expected, a righteous gentleman never takes advantage of others. Water is the key to opening the passage to hell, as it can help Angela cross the nodules of hell. Constantine told Angela that he only needed to soak it in water, and the longer he persisted, the better. If he couldn't hold on, he would pull it out of the water. Actually, this is a white lie from Constantine, because only by putting Angela on the brink of death can he enter hell and see the devil. As long as you see the demon again, you can restore your psychic abilities. A few minutes later, Angela, who couldn't hold on, began to struggle desperately, while Constantine held onto him tightly. Suddenly, the time flow rate begins to slow down until it comes to a complete stop. In an instant, the bathtub exploded and Angela finally broke free. Then he began to mutter to himself about the scenes in hell. It seemed that he had regained his psychic abilities. Suddenly, Angela stood up and ran out, running all the way to the underground of Coleman's death chamber. Then, he found a coin from the ground. At the moment Constantine saw the coin, he remembered the person he saw at Dad's bar at midnight. At that time, it was only through the introduction of Midnight Dad that he learned about this person's name as Baal, who was also a demon lurking in the human world. However, at that time, he could not act on Midnight Dad's territory, which allowed Baal to escape. Obviously, the root cause of all this was Baal, and it seems that the priest's death was also caused by him. Since the balance of the three realms has been disrupted, it's time for Constantine to take action. Damn it!
Hi, I was born of them!
How's my mind crossing over, you half-breed piece of shit?
Finally, Constantine found the demon Baal. After a fierce competition, Baal was beaten by Constantine's electric cannon and covered in a mouthpiece. Constantine said, "From the moment my friend was killed, the balance of the three realms had already been disrupted. What I need to do is eliminate you and restore the balance of the three realms. As long as you tell the truth, you can be spared from death today." Seeing that Constantine is really serious, as Baal, who was extremely arrogant in the previous second, will recognize him in the next second. He told Constantine that the blood of Jesus, the Son of God, could bring Mammon to earth. After obtaining the desired answer, Constantine fulfilled his promise and decided to let Ball go. But just as Constantine was about to leave, Ball, who had a stiff mouth, refused again and insisted on pretending to be coerced. But Constantine wouldn't get used to him and sent him back to hell with just one shot. At this moment, Angela also called. Constantine told him that Jesus, the Son of God, was not crucified, but rather stabbed to death by a soldier's spear. This spear was later the Spear of Lyngens, and the remaining blood of Jesus on the spear could help Mammon cross to the mortal world. The immediate priority is to prevent Mammon from obtaining this spear. Before she could finish speaking, Angela was dragged away by an invisible force. Watching Angela Constantine being taken away by demons completely enraged. He broke into Midnight Dad's territory with his Dragon Creek gun and broke his ban by shooting, because he wanted to borrow the shuttle chair to find the Lance of Lyngens, but he underestimated the strength of Midnight Dad.
You're the only one for playing by the rules, Midnight, but you've been imitating Switzerland. People are dying. Hennessy, Beeman, they were your friends once, do you remember?
Encouraged by Constantine, Midnight Dad also revealed the truth. Originally, he had already known about the plan of Satan's son, Mammon, to break into the human world. However, at that time, he believed that Mammon did not have such strength, and he did not expect Mammon's plan to be so fast. At midnight, Dad decided to take action to help Constantine. With the start of the electric shock, Constantine saw the entire conspiracy plan of Mammon. He saw a homeless man carrying the Lance of Lyngens coming to a hospital full of demons. Obviously, this hospital was the place where Mammon held the ceremony. It seems that the next big war is inevitable. Subsequently, Constantine and his assistants began preparing weapons and ammunition for the war. They used crosses and magical tools to forge special bullets, which had a huge erosive effect on demons. On the other hand, Angela was thrown into the pool where her sister jumped off the building. Just as Angela was looking around without anyone, a man suddenly appeared behind him, who was the homeless man holding the Lance of Lyngens. Angela decisively pulled out her gun and shot at the homeless man, but the bullet passed through his body and hit the wall. Angela realized something was wrong and turned around wanting to escape, but she was still dragged into the water by the homeless man. At this moment, Constantine and his assistant also rushed to the hospital. The two planned to take separate actions. He asked his assistant to throw the cross into the firewater tank, so that ordinary water could be turned into holy water, and Constantine came to the hall, facing a fierce army of demons, who looked at him with a forced expression on their faces. Next, Constantine brought a chair and then stood on it, activating the fire protection system with a lighter. Holy water will not let go of any demon that has been drenched. At this moment, in the neighboring room, Angela was held in the water by the homeless man and sent to hell. The horse door, which had been waiting for a long time, bit Angela in one bite. By the time Constantine arrived, the horse door had successfully possessed herself. Angela has no choice. Constantine can only throw down weapons and demon melee flesh, but his strength alone was not enough to deal with the demon Xianjun for a moment. His assistant controlled him from behind, and then the two of them worked together to pull the demon to the floor. But at this moment, Constantine was bewitched by demons and could not even drive spells. At a critical moment, the assistant once again demonstrated his exorcism talent. He calmly recited the exorcism spell and ultimately, with the cooperation of the two, successfully suppressed melee. Just as the two of them thought it was safe, the assistant was suddenly controlled by a mysterious force, just like when Angela was taken away. However, the assistant was not as good as Angela, and he was beaten up and down by this force until he died. The death of the assistant became the last straw to crush Constantine. He revealed the Hongwei King's magic formation on his arm. Unexpectedly, the person who appeared was actually an angel in charge of 100 families. It seems that the hidden power in the dark is Gabriel, who has been secretly helping Mammon travel to the human world. He put his stinky foot on Constantine's face, saying that whether humans are murderers or pointed criminals, as long as they believe in God and pray sincerely, they will be forgiven. Why is human treatment superior to other species in the universe? And it is to make the world full of demons, putting humans and demons in the same world, and allowing humans to experience the pain of demons as well. After speaking, Gabriel threw Constantine into another room. The dying Constantine asked God for help, but God did not respond. It seemed that he could only seek the help of another big shot. Then Constantine picked up a piece of glass and cut open his own big hole. He wanted to summon the king of hell, Satan, by suicide, because Satan had said he would personally collect his spiritual spear. Meanwhile, Gabriel from the neighboring room took out the spear of fate and prepared to release the horse. At the moment he stabbed Angela, the surrounding time stopped, and the king of hell, Satan, had already descended into the mortal world. Satan is very happy because he has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Constantine told Satan that your son Mammon is about to break free from hell in your control. He has already come to the world and has also received the Spear of Destiny. Satan doesn't believe Constantine, just let him go to the next room and see. Satan believed that Constantine was playing tricks, but his serious attitude didn't seem fake. So Satan went to the next room, and when he saw the ceremony being held by Gabriel, he understood everything. Later, he reported the failure of the Angela plan to Gabriel before the time went by, which was very likely. He knows that the king of hell, Satan, is an existence he cannot afford to provoke. Satan leaned close to his son's ear and said, "It's time to go back." Then Satan sent his son back to hell. Gabriel watched as his plan was shattered, so he wanted to eliminate Satan in the name of God. He punched him, but found that the attack had no effect. Satan smiled and said, "It seems that your master abandoned you." Immediately after, Satan's eyes were bright and he burned down Gabriel's wings. The cunning Gabriel finally received the punishment he deserved. Constantine helped Satan solve his son's problem, so Satan decided to give him a chance to be reborn. However, Constantine chose to sacrifice himself in exchange for Angela's sister's chance to go to heaven. For Satan, this ending was what he wanted the most, because he could also obtain Constantine's soul, so he agreed to Constantine's request. Just as Satan was about to take Constantine away, Constantine's body became heavier and heavier, and in the end, he couldn't drag him any longer. Originally, Constantine had already met the conditions for going to heaven, which was to sacrifice himself and fulfill others. Constantine stretched out his middle finger under the holy light, mocking Satan who had been deceived by him. He angrily said, "You are mine, you will always belong to hell." So Satan picked up Constantine, reached into his body, and pulled out the cancer bacteria from his lungs. Because Satan wants Constantine to continue living on Earth, only then will there be a chance to pull him back to Ding. So, Constantine survived and finally everything came to an end. Constantine found Angela and fell deeply in love, but the straight man Constantine didn't seize this opportunity. Gabriel, who had become immortal, walked out of the pool and begged Constantine to kill him. Constantine only gave him one shot, allowing him to experience human suffering. At the end of the story, Constantine handed the hair of Rankinus to Angela, asking him to hide it and not tell anyone any favors. "I've reached the depths again, and I'm so anxious about what I've seen. A new mouth is even harder than going to a demon." In the end, Constantine did not choose to step out of that scene. Constantine habitually reached into his pocket, but this time he took out chewing gum instead of cigarettes. It seems that Jakong also needs to take care of his life. The last minute of the ending left the sequel Easter eggs, and the former assistant became the new angel poem. Constantine 2 owes you a movie ticket. I hope you don't disappoint your fans. To avoid missing out on more exciting movies, please click subscribe.